Hey everybody, this is Mike from Weird Shit Podcast. I just wanted to take a second before we get into the show to tell you guys we have a Patreon set up at www.patreon.com/weirdshitpodcast. Basically, Patreon is a website where you guys can choose how much you want to donate per month to an artist or a content producer like us, and it helps us pay for new equipment, helps us pay for our hosting fees, and if every listener who listens to the show gives just $1 a month, it would really change our lives. We want to be able to give you guys longer episodes. We want to put out more of our case files episodes and pay more attention to our YouTube channel, but as it stands, we just don't have the time. But if we had more financial support from the show, we'd be able to do a lot more for everybody. And don't worry, we're always going to be ad-free as long as we can, and this will help us stay that way. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you all so much for your support. If you can't pay to the Patreon, don't worry, man. It's no big deal. Share the show with whoever. We're glad you guys are here, and we hope to keep doing this for a long, long time. Welcome to the Weird Shit Podcast. This is Mike.
I'm Alex. Allegedly.
This is Robert.
And this week...
That's Ryan.
God.
This is the podcaster formerly known as Ryan.
I just keep doing it.
It's just a weird symbol now.
My name
It's
is
alien, you probably wouldn't understand it.
I even sat here, I was like, did Ryan go yet? I don't know.
It's pronounced
Yeah.
wah, 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 wah.
My clothes just turned blue. I don't know what happened. So, today we're going to be doing Reincarnation, which would be pretty fun. What do you know about Reincarnation, Ryan?
I remember a past life where I was an Apache war chief.
Sounds accurate, actually. I could see that.
I can see that. It sounds like that could be a thing. What did you do as an Apache war chief?
Killed a lot of white men.
A lot of white men.
But they started it in my defense.
many scalps were head.
I also killed a lot of other Native Americans, allegedly.
And buffalo.
Yes. They're gone now.
Yeah. Oh.
What about you, Robert? What you know about reincarnation?
Well, as the resident Buddhist, I know quite a bit about reincarnation.
Shit.
Oh shit!
But I will leave it to
You
you.
dropped the Buddhist hammer.
I did drop the Buddhist hammer. Yeah.
What do you know about reincarnation, Palmer?
Can I come back as a dog?
I mean, I am gonna ask some questions of you guys later, so I would keep that answer in mind. So, reincarnation is the
not like a stray dog though. Domesticated.
like a fat dog.
Hell yeah.
One of those
Like
dogs.
an Irish wolfhound.
One of those dogs that gets fed to death. Like they
I'm just
keep
laying on the
feeding-
ground.
Push the bowl closer to his face.
You're just on your back with
The
like
other
your
bowl.
tongue hanging out, like trying to just catch pieces of kibble on your tongue.
And like my tail's wagging, but like I can't move anything else.
That's how I picture you as a dog.
What are you trying to say? Trying to say I'm fat?
I'm trying to say that no matter how much food someone was to put in front of you, I think you would eat it.
Yeah.
Accurate.
So, reincarnation is the philosophical or religious concept that an aspect of a living being starts a new life in a different physical body or form after biological death. That is the official definition of reincarnation.
Is that like kind of like a ghost then? I mean, like, or
Kinda. It's basically like your soul. So it's like, it's not necessarily a ghost thing, but it's like, different religions have different views on how it would work. But say, like, you went outside and you got hit by a bus, you're dead. But then you get, like, flung into the wheel of life, and then you pop back out as something based on how you've lived your life. So you could end up as another person.
Pretty much based on merit.
You could end up...
if, like, a bus runs over you, and then, like, right after that runs over a dog, do you get, like, rammed into that dog?
If that dog survives, you might.
Oh, shit.
You might get, like, snagged on that dog's karma or something.
Right.
What if I turn into a bus?
I mean, there was a whole Chevy Chase movie. There was a whole Chevy Chase movie where he got murdered and then came back in the dog. I remember that. Yep. I don't remember what it was called, though. It was fucking dope, though.
And there was that really, really terrible Kevin Spacey movie where he came back as a cat.
As a cat after he gets hit by lightning or something.
Wrong!
Wrong! You have 9 lives.
Meowmix can never wrong!
Superman was meow!
Meow! So,
Said Barrett.
basically there's a whole... No. So basically there was a whole bunch of... There's a whole bunch of different religions that have stuff about reincarnation in them. There's Jainism, Hinduism, and Buddhism are the 3 most common. It basically has its... the idea of reincarnation came from the Vedic period, which was around 1500 to 500 BC. And it was around before even the Buddha or the Mahavira. Basically, back then they had concepts of like the cycle of birth and death and rebirth and things like that, but it was really the Buddha and the Mahavira who like really popularized them and made them like central tenets of their respective beliefs.
Do you just like keep coming back? Like, is there a limit on how many times you get reincarnated?
So basically, in Buddhism at least, you come back based on merit. So, like, if you lived a good life as a human, you would come back as a human again because being a human is your best chance to escape the cycle of death and rebirth.
So you can just get back to chilling in the afterlife.
Right.
Wait, so wouldn't that be more of a punishment then? Because you're saying you're trying to escape.
Right. So if you become enlightened during your lifetime, then you escape the cycle of death and rebirth. So you wouldn't come back as anything.
I literally...
keep doing it and getting another shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you know it.
Till you get it right. I literally had a dream before where I was the only person in the world that hadn't achieved nirvana yet, so I couldn't get out of the cycle. So everyone else was stuck in the eternal cycle because I wouldn't find enlightenment to like finish the wheel. So like it was literally like
get your shit together, Mike.
It was the dude Ed Larson from Round Table of Gentlemen who was like sitting me down and he's like, "Listen, you really gotta stop fucking this up, man. You're fucking this up for all of us. I'm not trying to come down on you. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you gotta get enlightened this time and make sure you get it right."
And you're just that emo kid, like, no, I'm not gonna conform.
Well, I was, like, in the dream.
I don't want to enlighten.
It was, like, some serious anxiety dream shit, because I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm fucking it up.
You're just like, nah, enlightenment is lame. Everything's lame.
Everything, like those kids from Jurassic World just texting while, like, their, like, guardian is being eaten by a fucking pteranodon.
This shit's lame.
No thanks.
This movie sucks. Get to the T-Rex fight.
God, I'm stuck on this island with T-Rexes and shit.
That's so lame.
It's so lame.
All the hot chicks got eaten.
Miracles of modern science are fucking lame.
Like, basically, let me see. The earliest layers of Vedic text incorporate the concept of life, followed by an afterlife in heaven or hell based on cumulative virtues. Which is like what Robert was saying. Mm-hmm. Like, basically, if you do enough good stuff, you won't have to come back again. You get to just chill out in paradise.
Do people ever, like, remember past lives?
So here's
I
the
know
thing.
some people do, but you would think if reincarnation is actually a thing and everyone's, you know,
There's actually a dude that I read a bunch of books by when I was growing up who was really fucking cool. He was a scientist who did studies on this because, like, there were a bunch of parents coming to him saying that their kid was talking about when I used to be this person, like I did this, this, and this, and the parents would find out that some of that shit actually lined up. So, like the scientist's name was Ian Stevenson, and he was a Canadian-born U.S. psychiatrist. He worked at the University of Virginia School of Medicine for 50 years, and he was the chair of the Department of Psychiatry from 1957 to 67. And he also was the founder and director of the university's Division of Perceptual Studies, which investigated the paranormal, which is really fucking dope. That sounds like the best job on earth, is to, like, do that professionally.
Yeah.
So basically he would go to these families who would contact him because he became, like, super fascinated with the idea of reincarnation and shit. And he would go to these families and, like, for instance, there was this family in, I think it was in England, or in Wales. So they're in Wales, and they're like, my kid... I love you!
Wrong kind of whale.
And I miss you! So this kid is like, he's like, yeah, before you were my mommy, I used to live on an island, and, like, there was, like, this, I used to watch the planes come in, and they would have to land in the sea because they couldn't land at the airport. This kid had never seen a plane. He'd never seen an airport. And so, like, much less would he have any idea of how it would work, right?
So why is this kid, of all people, remembering past lives?
Apparently, it's a super common thing. Like, even when I was little, my mom said I used to talk about before she was my mommy, but she always wrote it off as, like, kid gibberish. Like, she was like, he's just joking around, because she didn't know about reincarnation at the time. Like, so, I think it's probably a much more common thing. Like, his studies, he studied more than 5,000 cases, just him, by himself.
Is there any theories on what separates someone remembering past lives and what doesn't? Like what traits a person has who would remember?
I think it's like once you get...
That's a good question, honestly. Like, is there an ethnic diversity for people who remember past lives?
Well, what's interesting about it is, like, a lot of the cases that I saw anyway, like, having watched, like, documentaries and stuff about it, is there is sort of a cultural aspect. Like, you tend to be reborn in, like, the same type of culture.
Yeah.
Wasn't there, like, an unsolved mysteries of a little kid that was like a Civil War vet or whatever?
Yeah.
And he came back, but he was like a black guy when he was alive or something like that. I can't remember the exact.
He was a I put a case that I saw. It might be the same one that I found on YouTube. I put it on the our YouTube channel where I have, like, playlists and stuff for, like, the episodes. And it was this kid who said that he used to be a black woman named Pam who lived in Chicago before she had to jump out of a building because it was on fire and died. And like that's really specific for like this kid was like 5 and he's like coming up with all this, right?
Is it usually kids who remember these things?
Yeah, it's like kids, and then around age
they're like fresh out of that old life.
Yeah,
exactly.
and around age 6 or so, it usually stops. Just like they quit like remembering anymore. So maybe it's like a residual energy thing, like the same energy is being used to bring someone back or something. I don't know, but
never happened to me.
Yeah,
I never had any experiences like that.
Did you ask your parents, like, if your mom maybe remembers you saying something like that?
I remember most of what happened when I was 5 and 6. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember much before I was like 4. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember like the first memory I have is like taking my dad's hand and going into the hospital when Robert was born.
Yeah.
And like they wouldn't let me see my mom or Robert, and I was really upset about it. And that's my very first memory. I don't remember anything before that.
Yeah.
And I would have had to have been like 2.5.
Yeah.
But like these kids, like one was like a World War I pilot, and like they like literally traced it back so that World War II pilot, and they traced it back.
And the joke if he was a biplane fighter pilot.
I know.
I was the Red Baron.
Instead, he was like, "I exterminated the Jews."
Yeah.
You're like,
They're gonna pretend you're not.
That's not nearly as fun.
Have you seen Kyle? You guys seen Kyle?
He's about this tall. Seen Kyle?
Except that those people probably wouldn't be reborn as humans. Just throwing that out there.
What would they be reborn as?
Anuses.
Yeah. In like Buddhist tenets, you'd literally come back as something terrible. So you'd be like a roach, or like something that someone would like.
They're probably all
step
plotting
on.
like, we can survive a nuclear blast. Let's
Our
start
time
World
would
War
come.
III.
They're gonna just all come together to form like the Antichrist at some point. We just don't realize it.
So if you fuck up as a human and then you come back as something total shit, do you then get another chance after that shit life?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you after your roach life you come back as a human again.
If you're a good roach, you'll get promoted and
so
become something
are
better.
there any kids with memories of being roaches?
No.
Not in this guy's study. So,
So the memories just skip the.
they skip the roach parts
okay.
if it follows the
Well,
Buddhist
what's
one.
interesting is the case that he was talking about with the kid who said he was a black woman named Pam. Like, he actually went into detail of, like, after I died, I went up to heaven and talked to God, and God sent me back down. And I was like, that's kind of weird, but alright.
Yeah, I think like there's some kids who talk about like a glass castle or something like that. Like they were in a glass castle and then they chose their parent. Like stuff like that is what a lot of them talked about, which could all just be like religious nonsense, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like
Bunch of mumbo jumbo.
bunch of hibbity bibbity. But it's still like just really interesting shit to think that like
Hold on. Let me just
you
throw
just
something
go
out
up to
there.
like a crystal waiting room and are just like, all right, I guess this time I want to be poor. I want to have high blood pressure, a high risk of cancer.
I want to be gay.
I want to be gay, and I want to be black.
Exactly.
and then you spawn in as that. Like that seems like
What if it's just like a giant rolling disc
Oh,
of like
shit.
5,000 different categories, and it's just like
it's like a slot machine.
you're like,
It's like gay, black. Damn it.
It's like, yeah, damn it.
Gay, black,
If,
quadriplegic. God.
Hold on.
Son of a bitch. It's like rich white male.
What if time isn't linear
Poor.
too? So you could. What if time isn't linear? So you could actually like be reborn before you were alive before. That could be cool.
That would be pretty fucking dope.
Yeah. You just
So,
like
like,
spin the wheel and it's like,
dude,
black, 1940.
Dude, that would mean that like the people who were like innovators or the people who like made huge impacts on society were people who had actually lived in a future time and then ended up being reincarnated into the past.
Right.
So they had those concepts in their head. I know, but they still had the same like core beliefs and concepts.
Also,
like, transferred
let me
back
just
with
blow your
them.
mind for a second. You know what else has a lot of glass? Sci-fi spaceships. Aliens. Just throwing that out there.
Yep.
Glass castle, alien spaceship.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
That could be like maybe the aliens. Maybe Scientology has been right this entire time. They're just fucking grabbing our souls when we die, and the aliens are going, all right, put it in that one. And that's just how it's working.
Church of Scientology. We are writing to you.
No, that's not what we want. Church of Scientology, do not write to us. We do not have an email. We want no contact with you or your lizard masters. So
I'll fuck them up. Act like I won't.
They're looking for some fisticuffs.
I don't abide members of the
I'm starting the
reptoid
Church of
race.
Scientology too. It's way better.
It's going to have explosions.
We're going to wipe out the first church.
We have Kurt Russell on board.
We're all about negative people.
Church of Scientology harder.
We harness negative energy and use it as a weapon.
Church of Scientology with a vengeance.
Are we the baddies?
I just really feel that you're being an SP right now, Ryan. And it's really fucking up my thetans.
Excuse me, were you just being positive to me?
No.
So this guy, like, he spent his whole life researching like the paranormal and like these kids that would be reincarnated and stuff.
Was it like fakes when he was like interviewing these kids?
Had to be.
No,
Like,
drugs are illegal.
So, what were you saying?
so unlike.
I was a banana.
I was a fat black woman in Chicago.
He's just interviewing Ralph from The Simpsons. I was a banana.
Yeah, sure you were.
Yeah, okay.
Also, I was like 300 feet tall. I was eaten by Hitler.
I was a bottle of whiskey.
That's why I got promoted.
I was Chewbacca.
I was Ernest Hemingway's shotgun. I was in a society where everybody was the same color and had no hair. And it was like 6,000 years from now.
I don't get it, and I don't have to. Like, so, like, there's actually, like, so many different religions that follow this, not just, like, the Buddhists. It's also in, like, Hinduism, Scientology, Theosophy.
No, it sounds made up.
Theosophy sounds made up.
Well, they all do.
Yeah, I mean, technically, they're all made up. If you go back far enough, somebody had to have started them, so they're all made up. Yeah, this, there's also, I'm trying to find it. Dun, dun. So there's Hinduism,
Play me out, Johnny.
Sikhism actually has reincarnation, which is pretty dope. I didn't know that. I really should look more into that.
That's that,
there's a
sweet religion where they mistakenly get identified as Muslims and murdered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Six?
Yeah.
Sikh.
Sikh.
That's Sikh
Sikh
religion.
turban, bro.
So there's also like Native Americans that did this guy Thundercloud from the Winnebago Winnebago shaman. Dude's name is Thundercloud of the Winnebago tribe. That's pretty fucking
I'm on
badass.
board with this guy.
So this guy
I was reincarnated. I used to be that guy. I'm just saying.
I used to be
This
Zeus.
is fact.
My name is now Thundercloud. I like to re-identify as Thundercloud.
So this guy is like he was a shaman and he's talked about.
Did he just go around like introducing himself like in the style of wrestlers? Like, I am Thundercloud.
So you've come to see Thundercloud. Prepare to have your mind blown.
When it's you and Thundercloud in the ring,
You
normally have 33% chance of winning.
You step into this square circle with Thundercloud. Oh my god.
I am Thundercloud, the shaman. He's just flexing the whole time.
Just wearing a fucking bear pelt, like everywhere.
Dude, it's like a bear pelt with an eagle's beak. And then he's like dual wielding Mjolnirs and just like crosses
riding a Winnebago with a saddle on it.
with one of those big titted barbarian women painted on the side of it.
Step into my office.
Thundercloud. So this dude, he claimed to have been reincarnated twice. One of which, when he was blessed by the Earthmaker and all the abiding spirits, and given special powers, including the ability to heal the sick. So that's like how he thought he came back as a shaman, was because he had died and been reincarnated twice. And he's like, I, my ghost, was taken to the place where the sun sets. While at the place, I thought I would come back to Earth again, and the old man with whom I was staying said to me, my son, you did not speak about wanting to go to the Earth again? I had, as a matter of fact, only thought of it, yet he knew what I wanted. Then he said to me, you can go, but you must ask the chief first. Then I went and told the chief of the village of my desire, and he said to me, you may go and obtain your revenge upon the people who killed your relatives and you.
Yes.
Because he is fucking Thundercloud, and he doesn't take shit from anyone. Then I was brought down to Earth. There I lived until I died of old age. As I was lying in my grave, someone said to me, come, let us go away. So then we went toward the setting of the sun. There we came to a village where we met all the dead. From that place I came to this earth again for the third time, and here I am. And, that's so fucking cool.
So does that just really mean he's, terrible in his last two lives?
No, it's just because he's so badass. He just keeps coming back as himself. He's like, I ain't finished yet.
He wanted to come back.
I need revenge.
Exactly.
He was like, I need to come back for fucking vengeance. Thundercloud. John Marston, step outside.
You may have thought you killed me. You did, but I'm back.
Hold up. They're coming out with WWE in the next life. I gotta go back.
Oh yeah!
I gotta win that belt.
Thundercloud
Heavyweight champion
is here to drop a wampum on you.
And that's how he's getting revenge on his enemies, because the other wrestlers are his enemies in their past lives.
His ring
You
girl.
can't win.
His ring girl is the white buffalo woman. That would be so incredible. God. Thundercloud. We need to write that down and get Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott. Well, we have an idea for a movie.
for the next Aliens movie.
It's called Thundercloud versus Aliens. It will literally be a reincarnated Native American that dual wields hammers, fighting an army of aliens.
And he gets chest bursted, but he survives.
But he survives it.
He has to fight his own alien baby.
But the alien baby is stuck in his chest, so he uses it as a weapon.
It's like Watto from fucking Total Recall.
Yes.
Just
He'll just be grabbing aliens, and then the baby whips into their head, and it's just like bear hugging every alien, and it just explodes. It's just, by the end of it, he's just acid scar and rage. That movie would be awesome.
TCVP.
Send us an email. We are ready to produce this film.
We have 9 sequels lined up, ready to go.
we have an entire line of Thundercloud merchandise that we
would like to get in on the ground floor of financing Thundercloud merchandise.
We can also do Thundercloud versus Attila the Squatch.
Thundercloud versus Alien 3.
Thundercloud versus the Carthaginians. That would be incredible.
The world isn't good enough to deserve that.
That's not.
Not
Maybe that's
my
what we need to do.
hashtag not
life.
my president.
Yeah.
So so there's also this African tribe called the Vodun that I was reading about,
Sounds German.
yeah, African Vodun. So the Yoruba believe in reincarnation within the family, and they have names for it. So it's someone will be named Babatunde or something, which means father returns, or Yetunde, which means mother returns. So they literally name each other, name themselves after who they think is coming back in whatever the baby is. So they'll be like, oh yeah, this was my dad, I can tell. And then
So you just immediately give
like-
them a giant shadow to live under.
yeah, yeah. Immediately set the bar too high for
Way
them
too
to
high.
ever clear it.
What if one of them comes back gay?
Like,
This is Baba Thundercloud. We named him after Thundercloud.
Just as soon as he's born, he's like, it's me, Thundercloud.
Thundercloud has
Comes out,
returned.
his fist is just clenched to me. It's like, You thought I was dead.
He just
Dude,
claps
wait,
his
it's
hands
weird.
and lightning strikes
Dude,
him.
he comes out.
He's not
He's
crying.
immediately fully grown.
You gotta slap him and like on the
Thunderclouds.
mouth to get him to start crying. He's just like, no. He's like,
Dude,
he does like the reverse.
the guy goes to slap him,
And he
and
starts
Thundercloud grabs his hand and then just rips it in half. The
Guy
guy
catches it.
yeah,
catches it, and then puts the doctor in a figure 4 leg lock.
That would be incredible.
Tap out!
Don't even think about it. Who's getting circumcised now?
It's your turn to cry. To challenge Thundercloud.
Thundercloud has returned.
I, Thundercloud, have been born in Africa to punch AIDS in the face.
I'm here to exterminate Ebola.
Just goes around punching mosquitoes.
Raised by
Malaria
gorillas.
will fall in the squared circle.
Malaria.
Mosquitoes to challenge me in the WrestleMania 95.
Hantavirus, you face me in this square circle.
West Nile, you're next. Tonight in Florida, West Nile versus Thundercloud. And he's just like hooked up to
It's-
an IV. Shit.
It's like
Who is that warlord who's abducting all the kids?
Coney, yeah. He like goes after Cody.
It's Cody 2017 versus Thundercloud.
Coincidentally,
Reincarnate.
the exact number of bones that Thundercloud was about to break inside of your body.
I only have like 200 and something. I'm gonna break them all 6 times.
One deft punch.
He just turns him into bone pudding. My bonitis.
So, Ryan, if you were to be reincarnated, what would you want to come back as? If you couldn't be a human,
Okay,
what would you want to be?
obviously a human.
It's like an animal or something.
Yeah.
Anything. You could be a rock.
I mean, yeah, you can be anything.
I guess it'd be anything. Like,
Anything
with a
that's not a
soul.
human.
Yeah.
I want to be like, just first thing that comes to mind. I want to be a dolphin that like saves like a bunch of scuba divers from a shark.
That
About the dolphin that
Pretty
was
fucking
trained to
dope.
kill the president.
Allegedly.
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 Don't tell people about the dolphin. So
I have no idea what you are speaking of. Robert.
there is no dolphin.
Still gotta see that movie. I've seen that fucking poster, but I've never seen the movie. It just sounds amazing.
So Palmer, what would you be?
I have no idea. Thundercloud.
Maybe you're already Thundercloud.
Maybe.
Just this time you didn't come back for vengeance. You
Hold
came
on.
back.
I kind of want to be like something that can fly,
Okay,
like a bat.
dude. If
I was thinking like eagle or something. Not bad.
you could totally come back as a Thunderbird, and then you're part
It's not real.
Thundercloud,
Thunder
and
Cougar
you're
Falconbird.
something that can
I'm
fly.
gonna come back as the Thunder Cougar Beltenberg.
The Thunderbird is basically like in the Southwest they have this thing that supposedly takes like cattle and stuff sometimes, and like all their like Native American legends, which sounds an awful lot like a fucking pteranodon.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this giant like part lizard, part bird thing that like fucks people up.
Dragon?
I'm gonna be a seagull. at like one of those
A seagull
piers
named
where they
Steven?
have like where they have like one of those piers with like food and shit on it, and then I'm just gonna steal food from fat people and be like, "You're welcome," and then eat it myself.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. You're welcome.
That sounds perfect.
And then I'm gonna shit in people's mouths that are meat. I'm gonna be
Hang
able to
on.
time it.
Just shit on like luxury cars. So you just like detailed.
So are you gonna wait for their mouths to open first, or
Oh no,
is
you gotta
it gonna
time
be
it right.
Okay.
Just like dive bombing people.
Oh, that guy's about to sneeze.
I'm so glad I got reincarnated for this.
Worth it. What would you be, Robert?
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
100% Sasquatch.
Why would you be? Why would
Because
you
then
be?
you could finally be tall.
That's
Well,
true.
that would be awesome. Mostly, I think I would just be a Sasquatch, just to like fuck with campers, just constantly.
Well, you're supposed to try to become good, so you can become a human again.
Fair enough.
Since Sam Squanches are beings from other dimensions,
I
though,
wouldn't
can
like
you be
eat them.
reincarnated as a being
Fuck
from another dimension?
That's an interesting
Yeah, okay,
question.
So how about this though? If you're going to become a Sam Squanch, how would you be good to then become a human again?
That would be easy. I would bring the Dharma to the Sam Squanches.
But like Sam
What does that even
Squanches,
mean?
All you have to do is pick the most ticks off of the other Sam Squanches.
but so like
That's-
you could be reincarnated as like a sentient being, like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
intelligent being.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not human.
Okay.
Dolphin.
I mean, they're probably smarter than us. Smarter than you, dude.
Like, can I just like be reincarnated as like a gray man and just like they think I'm a gray man, but I'm actually a human, like in their skin.
That-
And we're like about to abduct some people or like invade the earth. And I'm just like, yeah, let's invade the earth. And like when they're not looking, I just break their necks.
just turn into like Seagal. Just like you're like, leave that cow alone.
Then take off my mask and it's thundercloud.
Yes. Just like somehow discus throw the UFO you're standing in, so it hits the rest of the fleet.
They all just go down.
It's like what? Thundercloud! Get away from my planet! I have visited Earth Mother, and she said knock you out.
What would you be like?
Thundercloud. What would I be?
Yeah.
If I was to be anything, so it's sentient or
Tick.
like animal or something, right?
But a good tick.
There's no such thing.
I would be
Yeah.
Harambe.
a gorilla. No, I like Palmer's thing about the dog. I'd probably be a dog. I think dogs have it good. Just laying around, somebody scratching my belly. I'd be one of those dogs that just ate itself to death. I have no doubt.
You ate yourself into the fourth dimension.
Yeah. I mean, like,
You start with the feet, eventually eat your own like torso.
I wish I could say that I would be like some sort of like benevolent like alien or something of some kind, but really I just like pizza too much.
What kind
So I'd probably be
Yeah, like if you have
I'd be a corgi. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. If I was to come back as any dog in the world, I'd be a corgi.
Dashing.
miniature.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
You're just like, sup? Ghosts are real.
I saw a dog the other day when I was working. This guy had a dog. He was a corgi and a golden retriever, like mixed, and it was the fucking cutest
that
dog.
must have been the worst birth of that corgi's life.
It was such a fucking cute dog.
Or the
It had like
easiest
the
for
little
that golden
tiny,
retriever.
stumpy like corgi legs, and then it had like the shaggy like golden retriever face with like the floppy ears and like the golden retriever tail.
So,
It looked
like-
like Doug from Up. Like it was like
So they
Doug from
handicapped
Up
the
as
golden
an actual
retriever?
dog. Yeah, basically. It was so fucking cute though. It couldn't have been a handicap. It was just adapted better to like getting scraps from the table.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
Genetically enhanced.
Genetically
Table
enhanced.
scraps.
We have taken this corgi. We can make him stronger, faster, superior in every way.
So
Lazier.
like, you're gonna be okay with like not having balls?
Oh yeah. I mean, with enough pizza, who needs them? I mean,
Who feeds a dog pizza?
you don't feed your dog pizza?
No.
I give dogs scraps all the time.
We have a dog.
When did you get a dog?
We don't.
Come here, puppy.
I mean, Snips is basically a dog.
I mean,
He's
yeah.
very dog-like.
Snips is basically a dog.
He's
That's
as big
why
as
I
a dog.
like him. That's why I like him. So,
Yeah.
what do you,
No.
what do you,
Thunder meow.
what do you think about, reincarnation, Ryan?
I think there's something there, but it's still out there pretty far.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an afterlife thing, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, do you believe in an afterlife?
We have a couple dimensions
But-
left to crack before we find the answer to that one.
It would be pretty fucking dope if you could, like, swap between dimensions in reincarnation, because I would just come back in the Star Wars one. I don't like this one. I would rather come back in the Star Wars
Can I
one.
change my answer? I would come back as Batman.
I am Batman. Coming back as Thundercloud would be awesome, though.
Holy shit.
What do you think about reincarnation, Robert?
100% believe it.
Well, I mean, you're Buddhist, so you kind of have to, right?
I don't know that I
You don't
have
have
to.
Fair enough. I don't.
You'll get kicked out of Buddhism.
Yeah, they'll kick your ass. I've seen the
Murder someone.
I've seen all those movies, man. They beat people up all the time.
I want no trouble. Yeah, well, you got trouble when you stop believing in reincarnation.
You think you know better than the
then
Buddha?
it just turns into like a Steven Seagal movie.
I am Thundercloud. I am
Also had a read.
Thundercloud is just reincarnated as a Chinese Buddhist monk.
Teach me how to do that flying thing. What? No, it's CGI. Teach it to me.
Nah, I saw those movies. I didn't see any wires.
So,
Oh, you ripped my arm off.
The wires
Shush.
got another one.
Yes, you got another one. Jeez, stop complaining.
if or I'll stop complaining, or I'll send you back to Hong Kong in a box marked dead guy.
I'm from LA.
Too bad.
So, there's actually some pretty crazy stuff going on right now with the, having to do with the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama.
Who?
The Dalai Lama? You're asking me who the Dalai Lama is?
Who that?
Yeah, who?
Is
Is that guy from the King of the Hill episode?
Yes. Where Bobby is the other llama.
Got it.
Yeah, so,
The only thing I know about him is the gif where he's like staring at the person in the crowd and like the lasers come out of his eyes.
he's basically like, he's
Where he's
basically,
like,
basically before,
haven't seen that.
He is
China,
the spiritual and political leader of Tibet
yeah,
in exile.
So-
like,
So
before
China.
China took over Tibet. Like,
Are
when
you
China
implying
took
that
over,
Tibet is not part of China? Because China will murder you.
Pretty much, yeah.
it hasn't always been part of China.
Always.
So,
It goes back thousands and thousands of years.
basically, there's two different llamas. There's the Dalai Lama and the Panchen Lama. And the way it works, which is really fucking cool, is that when one of them dies, the other one has to find their reincarnation. Like, if when the Panchen Lama died, the Dalai Lama found this boy who he said was the reincarnation of the Panchen Lama because he brought, like, the artifacts, and the kid's like, that one belonged to me, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, and so he figured out that kid was the reincarnation of the Panchen Lama. Has
one of them ever died without being able to find?
So here's the thing. After the Dalai Lama said that kid was the Panchen Lama, guess who shows up? Fucking China. And they nabbed this kid, and he hasn't been seen in 20 years. The kid that was the Panchen Lama. So he got fucking, like, ganked by China, and then China's like, no, forget that kid. That wasn't the Panchen Lama. This is the Panchen Lama, and names their own Panchen Lama instead of the Dalai Lama naming him. So
just some like Chinese super soldier, like genetically.
yeah. It's
and
like
the other kid is now Kim Jong Il.
the other kid is now fucking Worm Chow because it's been 20 years since anyone's seen him. Like,
no, there's hope.
Like, if the Chinese,
I know what happened to him.
If
They've
he's
got him
not
like
Worm
locked
Chow,
up in a
he's been
room,
brainwashed.
and they're like
by
bleeding him,
China.
and he's like the biological like battery for their portal into Nirvana, where they're like siphoning the life energy. We got to go after China, is what I'm saying.
they're
Stop this.
hooked in with the reptilians.
Exactly.
That's what's going on right
How many
now.
nukes do we have?
Nah.
China's pretty big.
Not nearly enough.
The thing about China, though,
I think-
they're all located in a small, like
The important ones, anyway.
yeah, exactly.
And there aren't that many of them.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's a lot of them, but they're all like,
Yeah, I was like,
right on top of each other.
They're the most common type of people on the planet.
There's a couple of them.
Couple billion.
You don't need that many nukes, is all I'm saying.
There's only a few.
Penitent Llama or whatever your name is, we're coming for you. Don't worry.
What if we actually nuke him?
Pansion Llama. What?
Wouldn't we nuke him?
No,
Nuke
I'll be
who?
fine.
Oh yeah, he's but he'll just come back again. But if we
let's
if we
do
know
it.
that we killed
Let's do
him,
it.
then we'll know that he'll come back, so we can find him again.
Exactly.
So
Right.
that'll
Got it
be
all worked out.
yeah, problem solved. Dalai Lama, we got your back. Write us an email.
You might die.
we
Sorry.
let us know
It's for the better.
let us know if my dog is also a llama.
We're gonna
But-
send him back in a box marked alive.
Marked alive guy. So yeah, basically, because China grabbed this dude, because China grabbed this kid, like the Dalai Lama's fucked now. He's like, I have nobody to find me when I die. Like nobody's gonna be here to find like me after I'm gone.
And since
come
China
back.
named their own Panchen Lama, now they'll have that Panchen Lama name a Dalai Lama, who is not really the Dalai Lama. So,
Yeah.
The line is broken.
Right.
Yeah. So the Dalai Lama was like, I don't even know if I want to come back this time. He's like, I don't think I'm going to. Or if I do, it's not going to be in Tibet. Because if he comes back as a kid in Tibet, he's going to get fucking grabbed by the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, he's like, I might come back, like, in a different country where they won't fucking be able to just grab me. But...
And then, of course, you have the issue of if he does come back, who's going to find him and know? Because the Panchen Lama is missing. I mean, we have China's Panchen Lama, who is not really the Panchen Lama, so...
What if he actually is, though?
How would China know?
Right.
I mean, it's literally just
It's
a
a pretty
random
clear
kid.
political move on China's part. Like, he's definitely not the actual Panchen Lama.
Nah, he's real. He's legit.
I'm beginning to feel that you've turned into a Chinese agent at some point in this episode.
Me? No. My last name is not
Ping.
not Ping.
I just like to think that it was like, this young kid that gets abducted, right? And comes back like 5 days later, and they're like, here, this is the Panchen Lama. And it's just the bad guy, like mentor from Kill Bill. It's fucking
That'd be incredible.
Like, what?
It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, it sucks for the Dalai Lama, though, about this shit, because, like, it's going to be a big problem within, like, the next 10 years, because he doesn't have that long left. Like, he doesn't look like he's got that many years left in him.
Like 30.
I think he's like 80, right?
Yeah.
He's old as fuck.
Maybe he's like 82. Could be wrong.
Nah, he's gonna live to like 120.
So, what do you think about reincarnation, Palmer?
Yeah, I don't. Nah.
Nah,
Not for me.
not for you. You want to, like, just have it over with when it's over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
I just
Enough is
don't.
enough.
I don't want to do this again. Because clearly I'm not about to ascend.
Well, that's the thing. You'd have to be about to ascend in order to not have to do it again.
Well, no. It just means I did really well last time, and I'm flunking right now. So it's
It should be about a C. And
it should
C's,
average out. What do I
C's
need, like
get
a-
degrees.
What do I need, like a D plus? Like,
C's get degrees, so it should work out. I don't understand why I have to be this perfect, shining, saintly person in order to get promoted.
Reach Nirvana or whatever, and that ain't happening. So,
I mean, you could buy all their albums.
Wait, who killed Kurt Cobain? They're clearly turning into a roach.
So we're totally going to do a Kurt Cobain episode at some point.
100%
The real Pancha Llama killed Kurt Cobain. He has to stop.
He was China's version of a God. What are those little kids? The FBI's.
Oh, the MK Ultra.
Yeah, MK Ultra. He's a Chinese version of MK Ultra and killed Kurt Cobain.
Exactly. Because he brainwashed us to stop the United States.
And they tried to blame it on Courtney Love. and
then
they were like, "No, suicide."
Instead of MK Ultra, it's MK Alpha plus Super.
Yeah,
as
Super Trippy
arcade edition.
But the Chinese, not Japanese. We don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that would be amazing. I personally think Reincarnation would be dope. I think it's like, especially if you get to pick. I don't know about the wheel system because I think there's some fucking like if I had to live all these lives, I'd be like,
watched any of them, you should definitely watch some of those documentaries. It's actually super interesting, like where
the kids come back,
talks to like the kids about their past lives.
Yeah, they're really cool. They remember a lot of crazy details.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll be like, my house had like blue shutters and like white. It was painted white and it was on a hill and the beach was down below it, and like they'll describe all this stuff that they've never seen before because they're a fucking 3-year-old kid. And then like the family like looks for it and they find it and they're like, this is what the kid was describing. It's literally this building right here. And then these are all things that he talked about too. So
what if instead of like one wheel, there's like tiers, like 5 or 6 tiers of wheels? So it's like, oh, you're going back to tier 1. Fuck. Sea sponge.
And then you get promoted and you're like a sea cucumber instead. So now you can actually move. So it's
like help some crab open up like a clam, like something.
And then you get promoted to a sardine.
And then you get eaten.
Yeah. Then you get eaten. So you give nutrients to somebody.
If you're born as a sea sponge, you just have to be a really good fry cook.
So if you're a pretty good dude making a documentary and you get eaten by a bear and you give that bear nutrients, what happens then? Like, do you come back as...
I think that's Nirvana. While they're dying, they're like, I get it.
No, that's just the endorphins flooding your brain at a moment of trauma. That's a completely different thing.
I think it could work.
So are you saying Grizzly Man came back as a grizzly? Is that what you're saying?
and
then ate another guy.
And then
ate himself.
he ate another. Yeah, he came back as the grizzly.
He came back as the grizzly that ate himself.
And he's just like
He is the central point for the entire Fibonacci sequence.
That's where it all starts.
His death is the singularity of the universe. So it all just expanded outward from him eating himself. That's amazing.
So there's this really interesting short story that if you haven't read, you should totally read. It's called
Dude, I'll read.
It's a short story. It's like several paragraphs.
Palmer.
Oh my God,
Palmer. Don't worry, Palmer. I'll read it to you.
But it's called The Egg, and it's by Andy Weir, the guy who wrote The Martian. Basically, what it is it like. Basically, he is like, it's about reincarnation, but it implies that like.
Egg.
Basically, all of the people that have ever been reincarnated are actually just the same person getting reincarnated over and over again.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's like an egg stage of life, basically. So like
right now, I'm you. But if you're me, then who am I?
You're me.
Not you. What part is Trump?
Oh gosh, those are the hard years, the hard drinking, hard coke binging years.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the Trump
What's
ones.
the top? Like Bill Gates?
I would be. I think
Musk?
that the perfect Nirvana would be some like, let's say like 75-year-old like Cuban man like fishing off his pier. And just like drinking like mojitos all day and smoking cigars. That's his entire
I feel
life.
like it's got to be the chairman of Iron Chef.
you remember
When he's flipping across that stage, man. That's
you
not
remember
fun.
in Spokane the guy who was wearing like the android costume or whatever for like for Sprint, and he would just like dance out on the street, and he always
ridiculous.
had like a giant smile on his face. I'm 100% sure that guy was a bodhisattva.
Yeah, I mean, it would literally be like 100 degrees outside, middle of the summer. This guy's out there in this thick, like, fur, like, mascot Teletubby costume, like, doing the Running Man and trying to, like, sell people phones. And we're like, how can he, like, smile every time? Like, pouring rain, super fucking hot,
Can't stop.
middle of winter.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Bad boy for life.
Bad boys for life. It was ridiculous.
He's just listening to music and it's like Sarah McLachlan. And it's just like, yeah, my jam!
He's just crying, remembering those dog commercials.
Yeah, pump it up. Yeah.
Louder!
That's just how he cries. He's dancing.
He's just punch dancing. Yeah.
He's the fucking kid from Bob's Burgers. I have to dance.
You can't contain me. Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest. I would like to think that reincarnation is real. I want to. I think it would be cool to come back and do something different, like each
come
time.
back as an egg.
Just be like, come back as an egg. Like, come back as a dog, come back as a person, like whatever you wanted to be.
That you boiled for breakfast and then ate, so you ate yourself.
Wouldn't even question it.
Wouldn't even question it.
I would, because I would probably soft boil myself. Shit's dope.
It is pretty dope.
So, that's probably it for reincarnation, I think. Final tally, I think it's
2 to 2.
I think it's a cool idea, but I don't know
you're
if I
talking about
believe
just
in
yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I can't definitively disprove it, so maybe.
it.
I already gave my answer. 100%.
100%.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say no.
No.
Nah.
Yeah, I guess we are kind of split then.
Yeah.
Me and Ryan on the fence, you guys yes and no. But, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. You can check out our website. It's weirdshitpodcast.net. Also, find us on Twitter, Facebook.
Tweet at us.
Send up signal flares.
What face?
You can email us at weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. Please keep those iTunes reviews coming. They do a lot of good for us. Help us find a lot more listeners. Thank you guys for the reviews. I'm probably gonna read them on air next week. So
if you got any ideas for episodes, I know Friday the 13th is this week. If you have any cool stories or ideas,
yeah,
send us some of those. We'll totally try to work them into an episode.
what are your
While
and
you're
like
checking out the webpage, if you have any ideas for articles, feel free to send them to me. Or hell, write the article. I'll look over
Any
it.
cool
We might
UFO
post it.
pictures, anything, send them our way.
Also, we're going to be doing superstitions next week. So, like, if there's any kind of weird family superstition that maybe your grandma had to hang, like, dead cats over the kitchen sink or something, like, you gotta let us
that's
know.
That's a little extreme. Jesus.
It's to keep the gnomes out of the kitchen. The only way. How are you going to keep a gnome out of your kitchen if you do not hang a dead cat over your sink?
No, this is America, Mikey.
I don't think that's a real superstition. I think that grandma just had some sort of mental illness.
Either way, we want to hear about it.
All the cats keep going missing in the neighborhood. No.
Oh, that Jeffrey.
That's weird shit.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Later.
Hey everybody, this is Mike with the Weird Shit Podcast. Thanks for listening. Welcome to Season 2. This season we're actually looking to collect some listener stories from you guys. Do you have feelings of dread in your grandparents' house? Did you witness a furry hominid on a childhood camping trip? Have you or someone you love seen something unexplained? Because we want to feature your stories on the show. We're looking to try to get some sort of listener story maybe at the end of each episode where we go over it. If we get enough of them, we'll do whole episodes on listener stories. Maybe we'll even share with you some of our own. We have a Google voicemail that I set up for us. You can call up there. You can leave your story on there if you're comfortable with having your voice on the radio. If not, just tell us in the message you leave. Let us know. Instead, we'll I guess I'll write up a transcript and put it up that way. We also so the number for that is 919-346-3071. Again, that's 919-346-3071. We also have a Gmail account set up. You can email us at weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. That's WEIRD shitpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us your stories that way. We also have a Facebook group. I noticed people seem to be liking the page instead of the group. If you want to be part of the discussions, just search on the Facebook search, type in Weird Shit Podcast Official, and go to groups, and it should show our group there. Also, to anyone who's listening on iTunes, if you could rate, review, and subscribe, it would be a huge, huge, huge help for us. It'll help us reach more people. We can keep this thing growing. Maybe eventually we can figure out some way that we'll be able to do this even more for you guys. This season, we're trying out some new stuff with our case files and regular episodes, so it should be pretty fun. And thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for telling your friends. Thank you for helping us in this and being a part of this whole thing. And stay weird.